Hello, my name is Paula DePero. I'm a librarian at the Western Campus, and today I'll be going over the amazing library race for your FYE course. There are 2 steps we need to do before we can begin the activity, and that is to open a Word document and to get to the research guide. So the first thing we're going to do is log in to My Tri-C Space. When you click on My Tri-C Space, it's going to ask you for your S number and your password. Once you have logged in, you're going to scroll until you see Office 365. So as you can see here, I have Office 365, and I will click on that. Once this opens up, we are just looking for the icon for Word. So here's Word, and I will open up a Word document. And I want to create a blank document. And the first thing we want to do is put our name at the top. All right, now the next step is to get to the library. So first thing, we can just hit the little X on the Apps 365 so we don't keep getting confused, and we can go back to My Tri-C Space. When you go back to My Tri-C Space, you want to look for the Academic Support Card, and when you find that, you will click on the library. Now that we're at the library, I'm just going to click the little X's of the other 2 tabs we don't need, so we're nice and clean. I've got my library page, and I have my document. Now, when you're on this page, you're only looking for one thing, and that is the research guides. Anytime you have to do a paper, a speech, a project, you want the research guide. So we're going to click on that, and you're going to see it's every single discipline that we teach at the college. So the librarians have already gone through and selected databases, resources, websites for you to use within those disciplines. So you just find your subject, which is General Studies, and then we're going to click on Gen 1070. So now we are at the amazing library race, and we can start doing the activities for that race. So throughout your college career, you're going to have to write papers and do speeches and do projects, and you're going to need academic resources for that. So I want to walk you through how you find a topic, how you locate articles, how to find books, and how to use Google more efficiently for academics. So the first thing we need to do is find a topic. So we're going to click on Opposing Viewpoints in Context. Now, if you're off campus, it's going to ask you to authenticate. It's going to say, what school do you go to? So you're going to pick Cuyahoga CC. You're going to put in your S number and your password, and it will let you in. Now, the reason I love this for finding topics is because if we scroll down the page, you can see there's these big overarching sections. So we got business and economy, law and politics, society and culture, and whatnot. So if I'm in a business class and I need a topic, here we go. If I'm in history, sociology, anthropology, I could find topics in here. If I'm in a poli-sci class, if I'm taking some sort of health class or science. So I can just click on the large area and it'll show me all the topics underneath. So today we're just practicing, so just pick a topic that looks interesting to you. Now, if you were actually doing a paper or a project, you would want to pick something that you would actually want to read about, because you're going to be reading quite a bit about your topic. For me, I'm interested in the minimum wage. I have 2 kids. They would like to see it be raised so they could make more money. So that's an interest for me. So this is my topic. So minimum wage. I can just copy that, or I can go over to my document and just type in my topic, minimum wage. And right now I'm done with number 1. I just want to show you a couple things about this database so you know that if you have to do a really quick speech or a paper and you only need like 3 to 5 sources, you can come in here, get that overview, get vetted websites, academic journals, newspapers, magazines, images or infographics that you could use in your speeches. statistics to prove your point, all within one database, all different resources. So this is a great place to begin any kind of research. Now, as I said, we found our topic, so we're done and we can hit the X. Now we're going to go back to our guide, and we're actually on number 2 already. We're looking for an article. Now you could have found articles in the top one, but we want you to experience different databases so you're familiar with them. So we're going to click on Academic Search Complete, which is just a great general database. And once this opens, all you got to do is type in your topic. And you can see it populates, so I can just click on that and I can hit search. So it comes back and it tells me, hey, we found almost 8,500 articles for you. When you're doing this and it's not practiced, a couple of things that you might want to look at is I only want ones I can print out. So I want full text. Maybe I'm supposed to use something current. So maybe the last 12 months or the last 5 years, both of those would be considered current. And then the last thing is maybe you were told to have an academic journal and you want to make sure you have that, so you could click on that. Or maybe you're new to the topic and you just want a magazine article on it. So whichever one, and you can click and hit apply. And now each one of these is a full text article from the last 5 years. That's a magazine. Once I am interested in a title, I can click on it. It's going to tell me all of the information about the article, so title, author, source. If I scroll down, there will be an abstract, which is a summary of the article. Once I decide that I want this article and I'm going to use it, if I scroll back up to the top, I will see a bunch of icons over here. One is to cite it, which is what we need to do whenever we use an article. We have to tell our professor where we got it from. So if I click on Cite, for this particular assignment, we are picking MLA. So we just drop down, select MLA, and then here is the citation. So we are going to get from the author's first name to the last, right click and copy it. And then we're going to go over to our document, and then we are going to paste that in. I did that with Control V, or you can right click and click on the paste and keep without formatting. So here's the citation. Just note that if we were doing this for a paper, we would have to bump these lines in 5 spaces. But since we're just doing practice, I just want you to know where you find the citation. So we picked an article and we looked for the little quotes and got the citation. If you wanted this article, you could also download it, or you could click on share and email the article to yourself, and it will send a PDF copy of the article. Now for us, we're done, but if you were actually doing this for a paper or a project and you needed more, you could just go back to the result list and select several more. But for us, we found our article, so we are done. We're going to hit our little X and go back to our race. The next thing that we're looking for is a book. And I've been a librarian for quite a while now, and I know that students aren't excited about reading an entire book. And the good news is you're not going to. Most of the time, you're just reading a little section or a chapter of a book. So if we click on our catalog, it's going to open up. And again, all we have to do is type in our topic, so minimum wage. And then I'm going to click on Search the Library Catalog. It's going to go and it's going to find all the books that have the words minimum wage and pull them back for us. This is going to include ebooks and print books in the library. So you can see this one is available at Metro Campus, but it's also available online. So we have both options, and you'll see that you can limit over here if you just want ebooks or if you just want print books. When you see one that's interesting to you, all you have to do is click on the title. The information that we are taking is right at the top. We need the title of the book, the author of the book, where it was published, who published it, and when. And those are all the pieces that you need to cite the book. So we're going to copy that, take it over to our document, and we're going to paste it in. And it's all right that it looks like this. We're not going to worry and drive ourselves crazy trying to make it into MLA. We just want to know that we could find a book. Now, You can also see that we could look at the chapters of this book. So I just want you to see that, because you remember I told you, you don't have to read the entire book. So you click on chapters of this book and it will eventually populate and show us all the different chapters of the book. It's a little slow this morning, so we're not going to drag on, but I just want you to know that it will show me all the titles so that I could look and see what the book is about before seeing it. And just when I was about to be done, there it is. So you can see we have the background and history, we have resources for research, we have different controversies within minimum wage. So maybe I'm just going to read about the problems with it, and that's the only thing. Now, if I was going to give an introduction, like say I'm doing an informative speech, I probably would only be reading background and history of minimum wage. So just know that you don't have to read the entire thing. You can just read a chapter of the book. All right, so we got our book. We can hit our X, and now we have a topic, an article, and our book. And we're into the home stretch. And we're finally going to go where everyone wanted to go in the first place, and that's Google. Now, I want you to just know, for academics, it's easier to use opposing viewpoints, academic search complete, in the catalog, because a librarian has evaluated all of these resources. An editor, a publisher has been involved in the process. When you go to Google, you have to do more of the evaluation yourself. You have to look at who wrote this. Are they an authority on the subject? When was it written? Is there bias in it? So sometimes it's easier just to use the library resources, but if you can't find something within ours, you might want to use Google. So I'm going to type in my topic. Sorry, I had a little hesitation of my brain how to spell minimum wage, but we got it in there, and hit search. And I want to show you the first thing. When you just throw a phrase into here, if I click on tools, it's going to show me how many results I got. So I got 142 million results. One little trick you can use is when you have a natural phrase, minimum wage, chocolate chip cookies, things like that, anything that one word goes in front of the other. If you put it in quotes and search it, and then look at your results, you're going to see we dropped over 100 million because it had minimum and the word wage on the page, but they were not right next to each other. So quotes will tell it minimum in front of and next to the word wage. The next thing you want to look at is just all the stuff that you get, and it comes from all over. It's from .coms, EDUs, all kinds of stuff. The easiest way to get academic information is to use the cite command. So cite and then the colon. There are 3 that we're interested in. One is .edu. That is an educational resource. This could be K through 20, so make sure that you are at a college or a university. You could use a .gov, which is a government source. And the government collects data on almost every single topic. So if you're ever looking to see something like how many people work at the minimum wage, you can go to a .gov and find that information. And then the last one would be a .org. That's a nonprofit. You want to make sure that you look at the vision in the About Us to know what side in the topic they are supporting, understand their angle, and what they're trying to do with their website. So once we put that in, you're going to see now everything is coming back from a .org. All of these are .org. But it also brings back things like the Wikipedia. And you may have faculty members who tell you, do not use a wiki. Now, if you have to get rid of something, you can go right back to your search box, put a minus, and what you're trying to get rid of. I don't want wikis. And so now we're going to see it's gone. I won't even see it anymore. So if we go back up to the top and we look at our tools, we went from 143 million down to 18 million. And I could lower this even more by saying, what's going on in Ohio? I want to make an argument about my state. And now we have focused minimum wage on Ohio, and we're down to under 500,000 results. We could say, I'm only interested in the most recent results. So let's look at the past year of that. In this way, I have whittled my results down from 143 million to 7,880. It's much easier to find something good on the first page or so when you have crafted your search and used the tools. So now I just have to pick one. Doesn't matter which one I pick, because again, remember, this is our practice day. So if I came here, I would go to the About Us first and do an overview and look to see who they are. Once I decide that I'm going to use it, all I need for this assignment is to take the URL. I'm going to copy the URL. I'm going to come back over here and paste it in. And now we have done all 4 parts of the Amazing Race. So the last things that we need to do to complete that is to submit it to our instructor. So we're going to go to File, and we're going to share a copy. And then you can put in your instructor's name here in their email address, and then you can send them a copy of this. You can also save a copy by coming up here and renaming the document before you do that. I would suggest that you put your last name and Amazing Race before, and then you can save it and send it to your instructor. All right, so now it's saved. So now I would go to File, I would hit Share, Share with People, and put my instructor's name in here. Or now that I've saved it, I could upload it to my Brightspace. All right, so that's how you handle the Amazing Library Race. I do want to bring to your attention that if you scroll down the page, that you can find a chat option for us, our phone numbers, how you can email a librarian, and how to find us in person. Anytime that you're doing a project, we want you to know we're here for you. Do you need to find articles and you don't know what you're doing? Do you need to find some kind of journal and you don't know where they're at? We want to help you. So stop in the library. You can chat with us online or email us, whichever works best for you. All right. Good luck on the race and with your academic semester. And we hope you all are very successful. Take care.